So you know how important the first few weeks for your newly adopted rescue dog or your puppy are, because socialization is super important. The first impression, you only get one chance for a first impression, right? And you need to do everything right, and you need to make everything perfect so your dog will become a reliable companion. But nothing works. Everything you read in books and see in videos and learn online, and everybody else says that nothing works. There might be a reason why. And we will talk about how to overcome it in the end, but first let me tell you why this is happening. There are a bunch of reasons actually, but with very motivated dog parents, and first of all, kudos to you. It's awesome you're paying so much attention to really giving your dog a perfect start into your life together. That's awesome. But what I see with motivated dog parents again and again is that things are just too much, too structured, too strict, too dedicated, maybe. So there are a lot of lists going on. Like we have a list for potty training, like when does the potty training have to occur? When do we take the dog out, and what happens in between, and how to socialize, what does the little puppy need to learn and see, and all those things. And don't get me wrong, I do have these lists in my courses because they're important. It's that we have a feeling about what we want our dogs to get comfortable with, right? But if those lists dampen and suppress our gut and they are just dictating our lives together, they are hindering, right? And if you try to do everything perfect and you train and train and train and train, you might oversee that your dog in that specific situation needs something completely different. And that is something that we need to get back. Yes, we can have lists, we can have goals, that's important. But what is more important is to tailor these things to your dog and to actually sometimes let it go. And what also sometimes happens, especially when we have a multi-animal household, so if you have more than one dog, or if you have like cats or rabbits or whatever, and you bring a new dog home, sometimes what happens is we are so careful in introducing those animals to each other that we almost see that they're actually ready for the next step. And that leads to frustration, because it leads to a dog who is most of the time in a crate or a playpen. And the laws aside, there are laws in some countries like mine about pen areas and crates and stuff. But besides that, if we have one dog constantly separated with some kind of barrier, whatever that barrier might be, and they are actually ready, so the dog in the pen area and let's say another dog are actually ready to meet, but they can't because they're constantly separated, that might lead to frustration, and that destroys your training process. So that can actually take you steps back and back and back. And even though you're training, nothing happens, or it even gets worse. And that's when we need to listen to our gut again. And that is actually the solution to the whole thing. So try to get your gut feeling on board again. Try to see what your dog is actually telling you. And for that, I like to take a few days and do nothing. Nothing. And that sounds easy, but it's actually not. Because we are so dedicated, and don't get me wrong, I'm the same way. So I know what I'm talking about. But really doing nothing, and nothing means we schedule a little bit of more rest and relaxation time in our own schedules to spend with our puppies, so our puppies can sleep better while they are with us. We stop using crates and stuff and just take the puppy with you. Yes, they need to stay home alone sometime, and they need to learn that. But just for now, if you see nothing's happening, nothing's working, just let the dog follow you around. If it's a puppy, it's normal. And if it's an adult dog and he just doesn't feel safe in the environment yet, let him follow you around. And if your dog wants to go with you to the toilet, take your dog to the toilet with you. There is nothing wrong with that. Yes, it might feel weird. It does. But if it helps the overall process, right? And forget training for those days. Don't train anything. Just see how your dog acts. Try to read your dog. Maybe take videos and watch those videos to see the little signals better and see how your dog reacts to what you're doing. So maybe your dog is interested in what you're doing. Maybe your dog gets a little bit intimidated when you walk right towards him. Maybe your dog decides that something's important right now. Like if you have a puppy and your puppy is kind of whining a little bit and always searching for something to chew on, don't wait for your puppy to chew on the sofa. Give your puppy something to chew because you might be teething, right? And if you see your dog pay attention to the vacuum for some kind of reason, it doesn't really matter, then you can do a little training session and introduce the vacuum, right? So try to see what comes natural to your dog and how you can help your dog adjust to your environment. And even if your dog is living with you for like 10 years and you see things are suddenly kind of becoming weird, do a vet check first. But then, again, take a step back, stop your routine as much as possible, and see what your dog's trying to tell you, all right? And yes, that's easier with a professional. That's what we do. We have a feeling for those things. And you will get a feeling for those things too. But it takes time. And if you want to skip ahead and have a professional by your side, check the description, get a free call. We see how I can help. But if you want to do it alone, really try to trust your gut again and really try to encourage your gut to step in and tell you what's right. And for that, you might to just watch a little bit and take videos and watch the videos. All right? And if you want to see how you can introduce enrichment and occupy your dog a little bit in a fun and relaxing way, watch this.